and welcome back to another episode of Speculation Alley. It's your boy A-Bomb here, and of course, with me as always is my boy Crypto Dilly. What's up, brother?
What is going on, man? How's your night?
It's good. How about you?
Doing well. Excited to get into today's topic, which is BeepBoop bots. Been laying out some videos recently, and we're joined today by some special guests. We got Bonsai Nate and Mel from the BeepBoop community. So excited to dig into it. And I'm sure you probably have some questions, so I'm going to let you lead it off.
Yeah. Welcome, first of all. I'm very new to the ecosystem. I own a BeepBot. And I know that that's one of the assets that you need to get involved. I don't really know too much about the participation side of it. So first of all, if there are any other assets I need to participate, what would those be? And also, what do I do with them? What's the participation look like?
Yeah, great question. What's up, guys? This is Bonsai Nate here. So you definitely want your BeepBoop bot, and you want to learn how to say it correctly, because if you don't, we make you do 10 push-ups. So that's always a fun part of the show. So you start with your bot. You need a battery. Their exosuits are optional, but you're going to want one because to be competitive in the battling, you definitely want one. And then you're going to need a season 1 charger. And with that season 1 charger, you're basically going to fuse your battery to the core of what is technically a dead bot because it died during season 1. And you're going to revive that bot now with that battery. The batteries have different rarities, and the rarity basically dictates the yield that your bot will produce every day that it survives in season 2. And so you fuse the battery into the bot with the charger, and now you've officially revived your bot, and it will immediately start yielding in-game Boop token.
Interesting. Okay, so I get this, and these are all assets I can find on OpenSea, like the battery and the charger.
Great question.
Batteries, chargers. Well, batteries, the robots, the original BeepBoop box, exosuits are all available on OpenSea. The chargers actually originate from the website itself, which is beepboopbots.io.
Okay, and is that where the battles are taking place?
Yeah, we battle at the website, or through the website.
Got you. Okay, so what's the building phase then? Can you describe that to me? What is that like? How does that go down?
Sure. And I just want to kind of double up on you can buy the chargers on OpenSea. However, it's important to buy them from the website because they auto stake when you buy them from the website. So you save on the gas from the staking. So that's what's important about buying them from the website. The building of the bots is a process where we are purchasing crates, kind of similar to 10KTF. We're purchasing trait crates with both the in-game token and the on-chain token. There's 2 different types of crates, and the on-chain crates, the Boop crates, produce rarer, more powerful traits than the in-game crates. But we open those. The in-game crates are all gasless transactions, so it's super fast and fun, and you can open as many as you can afford with your in-game and that you have. And there's 15 different slots for the bot. There's a left leg, right leg, left arm, right arm, helmet, the face, the left ear, right ear, power core, belt, prime attachment. I'm sure I'm missing something here. Reactor base. That's what it was, not the power core base. But there's multiple
different crates.
Right, and so there's 15 different slots that you want to fill out, and when you open these crates, it's a random assortment of what comes out, and they all have different strengths in both the damage and defense, which at the end of the day, we're trying to build as strong of a bot as we can, because we battle them later in the season. And when you lose, you essentially have to burn assets to revive them. And so if you can build a bot that's strong enough to win more than it loses, it definitely benefits you, because number one, it either costs you fewer assets, or it just keeps you in it longer. And you want to stay alive longer because you yield the in-game boop every single day that you survive.
Now, that's a really good description. I have one question about this in-game and out-of-game currency. Can you give me a breakdown of what is the in-game currency that I'm utilizing, and is that the lower tiered crate, as you said, that I'm able to purchase with those, or is the higher tier crate only able to be purchased with that I guess on-chain token, if that's correct?
Oh no, did she rug?
I think you're getting rugged, Mel.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure if it was me or her. Yeah, you're rugging a bit.
You're good. Go ahead, Bonsai.
You want me to take over?
Yeah, go ahead and run it.
So the difference between the currencies, the in-game and out-of-game, or the on-chain versus in-game, is we earn in-game boop when our bots are essentially staked. That in-game boop, you can do two different things with it. You can convert it in-game to Beep, which is what we are using to open the Beep crates. And that was necessary to, you do pay a one-time gas transaction when you convert the Boop to the Beep, but then from there out, it's all gasless transactions. The other thing you can do with the in-game Boop is you can, through a series of different steps, I don't know, like gates that you have to qualify through, you can remove that in-game Boop out of the game, and it becomes the on-chain Boop that is currently trading at like 35 cents. Now, we call that the banking game, where you have to purchase season 2 chargers. Each charger reduces your taxes by 1%. You pair that charger with a battery, which are very cheap. But the chargers we don't know how much the chargers are going to be for season 2 yet, but they're not going to be cheap. I mean, granted that you get the tokens at 35 cents, and the minimum amount that you can withdraw on a daily basis is 4,000 Boop tokens. So 4,000 times 35 cents. So it's over $1,000 a day that anyone with the 20 chargers can withdraw. So the chargers are going to be expensive. Otherwise, everyone would do it, and the whole ecosystem would collapse overnight. Sorry, that probably went a lot further than you wanted.
No, that's good. I want to know. So you said the 20 chargers though. So I have to have, like you're saying, it's token gated to be able to take the Boop, the in-coin Boop or in-game Boop, and transfer that into the out-of-game Boop, which is currently trading at 35 cents. So one of those tokens, or the gated things I would have to do, is own 20 season 2 chargers, is what you're saying.
Correct, because there's a 100% tax. There's 100% tax. So essentially, if someone owns 0 chargers, they try to withdraw Boop from the game, they net 0 because there's 100% tax. With each charger, you reduce the tax by 1%. And you're allowed to have a maximum of 20 chargers per wallet. So you can reduce the taxes by 20% down, an 80% tax.
Now, real quick, obviously there's different strategies for BeepBoop. And I think that could be something that we get into is you have the banking strategy, which you just kind of hit on, where you would actually accumulate chargers and be able to withdraw for on-chain Boop, which is trading at 35 cents. But if you are not doing the banking strategy, how would you utilize Beep in game?
Mel, you want to take that? Are you Val?
Yeah. No, I'm good. I can do this. So your Beep in game is basically accumulation of assets. So in order to mint any upcoming mints, you're going to need the in-game token. In order to build your strongest bots, you're going to want the in-game token to cover those crates. You basically, the one approach for this game is to put yourself in a position to flip assets, to mint and then sell those assets, and the only way to really acquire those is through the in-game token. Other components that we use that in-game token for during the battles, it allows you to buy like last season we had an ammo thing where you could have a higher percentage of attack, so that bots had a better chance to win that battle. And there were other opportunities that make that in-game useful so that you survive longer. You put yourself in a better position for the next season by having those bots survive. Everybody who survived the top 1,000 got survivor bonuses, which are going to be different assets that you're going to want to make your bots better for future seasons.
Now, obviously talking about season one, throughout that season one, what would be the main reason that you'd want to accumulate Beep? And what is the benefit of the game in the long run if you're just playing for one season?
Well, Mel and I have talked a lot about this because season 2 is definitely going to be different than season 1. And that's definitely necessary. And season 3 may be more similar to season 1 than season 2 is, if that makes any sense. I think what happened in season 1 is it was the start of the entire game, and we had to build out this whole ecosystem. So we have the bots, and then we have the toolboxes, which we use to save our behinds and when we lose in battle. Then we have the exosuits, which we pair with the bots to make them stronger. Then we minted the batteries. And now, so those are all things we did with the in-game currency. When you stockpiled that, you free minted all of these things that are NFTs that can be sold in the secondary market. Players like myself and Mel basically just stockpiled them. We didn't sell any of it. And by the way, we have to mention Mel won season 1. You know, we're just two special guests. However, she's Madam Champion. She won season 1. So, yeah.
What
the other
does that mean as far as winning season 1? What does that mean? What did you receive by actually winning season 1?
Yeah.
I won multiple ways. So my bot survived the longest, so my bank stayed open the longest. So I got to withdraw more token out of the game and on-chain that I could swap to ETH. I also, by winning, I get... I'm sorry?
What did that look like? What did you cash out, if you are willing to say?
At one point in time, at the coin's highest price, I was making a little over 4.3 ETH a day, or the equivalent of 4.3 ETH a day. And that was every single day. Season 1 lasted 33 days. So, at its low point, 2.8, 2.6 ETH, up to 4.3 ETH a day equivalent. I say that equivalent because I actually, I'm not very good at selling or exchanging anything. Actually stacked all of that for later. And right now the token, instead of selling it for 8 or 9 cents, which is what it was selling for during the average of season 1, is now at 33, 34, 35 cents. So by holding it, I've managed on a nice 7x since the season ended. So, and I continue to hold because I believe in the project and I know that it's going to go higher. So I have a little over 1.3 million in-game, our ERC20 token sitting around. So
that's no big deal over here, right? Like just Mel just dripping, But like I'm curious. I'm sorry to cut you off, Mel. I'm just curious, as far as as far as like the side of this where, again, I'm such a noob to this, right? So like, and I'm intrigued. I watched Dilly's video that showed me how to because I had a bot, I staked him. I got the battery. I bought the charger online at the website, and then got the exosuit and all that. So I did all that stuff, and I'm curious as far as like what this game's like trajectory is, and I know that you're not a founder, and I'm not trying to ask you as like a player who's like a legendary player at this point, but I'm curious, where do you see it going? Where do you see this game in 4 to 5 years? This is like a blockchain game that seems to be doing really well and having some success. So where do you envision it in the next maybe 3 to 5 years?
Well, I do know that the founder has extensive plans for the future. Multiple seasons have already been mapped out. This isn't a 1 or 2 or 3 season plan. This is all the way out to 4 and 5 as they're working right now. So, from a creative aspect, you can kind of see the original season as a proof of concept. Did the economics or tokenomics work? Did the deflationary aspects of this game work? And it proved itself that it did. And so from that aspect, they took it into the second season, made some small changes, and work it out on a bigger scale. So as the community grows and as people believe in the project, and you'll hear it all play to earn, everything is going to go to 0. Well, every day that we're not at 0, we're proving that this game is real and that this token and the community believes in this project and continue to utilize it and support it. And it is self-sustaining project. So, my belief is that this is going to take it to a dollar token, maybe higher, and that the floor price for these bots is going to continue to go up, because the more we build the bots, the more assets we're putting into them, the more value that they inherently create. You're taking this season alone a battery to revive your bot and a charger that has inherent value. You've just increased the value of each bot.
I love that description, and I appreciate that. Thank you for giving us that. I have one question, one more noob question, if you guys will indulge me. We've discussed sort of like, the building of the bot and those traits that, help, or I would imagine maximize either your defense or your attack and yada, yada, yada. But what do the actual battles look like? Because I know from my experience, you stake the bot as far as like letting it be able to be built upon, right? So you're earning boop, but what do the battles look like, and how does that like differ? Is there a different percentage of boop that you're receiving because you're in a battle rather than, staked on the side, or what? Do you guys have any insight on any of this?
No, so the yield is not affected by the battling from the perspective of win or loss. However, if you choose not to revive your bot after you lose a battle, then that bot's yield is turned off.
How do you revive a bot real quick? What do you have by that?
You have to use a toolbox. So
do you get those? Where do you get those?
Those are on OpenSea secondary. You'll see a bunch of different colors. We don't have any alpha yet on what the different rarity might mean in season 2. So as for the time being, just get the cheapest ones because they will save your bot. So I got on a crazy tangent there announcing that she's the champion. But what I was answering you earlier, and I don't know how you'll be able to splice this together, but so in season 1, we were inflating, right? We were getting all these different necessary assets for the ecosystem to be built out. Now we have the bots, the toolboxes, the exosuits, the batteries. We had the season 1 chargers that we used for banking. Now those are what we're using to revive the bots in season 2. But like season 2 almost seems like it's going to be like, in some senses, a deflationary season for more reasons than one. One being that we had all these assets, none of them burned. You can't just keep adding like 5 more collections, 6 more collections every season. By the time we get to season 10, we're going to have like 1,000 collections. It's crazy. So, in season 2, we're going to be burning the toolboxes. They're actually going to be used and they're gone. We're burning the batteries. These batteries that we're using to revive the bots are gone. So we're losing up to 10,000 batteries reviving these bots. We don't have any knowledge of exos burning. We do know the original bots are going to burn when we ultimately select all of our traits that we want after we are building our bots. You're then going to mint that bot into a new collection, and the old collection is going to go away. And now part of that was by design, but part of that also was a pivot because of the OpenSea royalties as well. So getting rid of these old collections has now become a necessary thing that BeepBoop is kind of implementing into the gameplay as well. But I think, we're going to destroy a lot of assets in season 2. We're getting the robo dogs through that Beep list, and we're going to be breeding puppies, and those puppies are going to be like a huge battle add-on for season 2. So we are getting some things, and we also have been told there's going to be a surprise mint that we don't know, that we haven't even been told about yet. So it's going to be really interesting. But yeah, the whole project is sort of a inflation and deflation and inflation and deflation, and that's necessary in a P2E. You can't just keep building and building and building and inflating and inflating and inflating. Clearly that will burst. So they have figured this out very well, and that I think the deflation is as important, if not more important, than the inflation. And so that's what we're seeing. We're getting to sit back and watch, this amazing creation that is BeepBoop bots.
Bro, that's awesome, and I'm very intrigued more already because I want to get into it more. So I'm definitely going to be checking in a lot more. I know the dogs are part of the Beep list. I don't know if you guys are going to give any context to that or how somebody gets on that list, but that would be probably very appreciated by our audience.
So
Yeah.
a couple.
Mel, do you want to take that?
Yeah. Well, I was actually wanting to add into something you just said. That deflationary inflation component and the way the season cycles gives this project a very unique opportunity to be something that is highly speculative or allows people to be speculative. We have periods of time where assets are known to be needed and are going to be not necessarily paid attention to at the conclusion of a season, but then during the season, they're going to be something that we have to have. And an example of that is the toolboxes. If you look at them during season 1, their peak was close to 0.05 ETH, and right now they're hanging out at 0.01 ETH. So, a little over 4x difference there. And so for somebody who's just interested in flipping into project or NFTs, you could easily acquire toolboxes relatively cheap, knowing that there's going to be demand in this game later for those same assets. And that is the nice part of the cycle. If you pay attention to the details, what's going to be needed when, what can I hold on to? We had these great arbitrage opportunities, like I said, for toolboxes, for the batteries, if you were in or a little bit earlier before this. And you can, buy them, hold them, and then sell them when the demand is high. If you also pay attention to the coin coming up, you know that we need 500 BOOP per dog or to mint a puppy. Here's a great opportunity to hold on to a token and then know that it's going to be in demand later on. And it gives you a roadmap. We have a great layout of when the demand is coming, what the demand is going to be. Math is your friend. Sell into that demand. So unlike any other project, it's known.
I love this because what this is going to translate well for is anybody that's in 10KTF right now. 10KTF is a great example of buy the assets that people are not paying attention to, so that way you can actually sell into the pump when people gravitate towards it. It's the attention economy at play. The only difference between BeepBoop and 10KTF that I really see is that BeepBoop has a whole economy built around it as well. So there's a lot of different moving parts at play, but that gives more opportunity as well for arbitrage. So I love that you brought that into this conversation. And I do want to get into that other aspect, though, the Beep list, and talking about elbow dogs and how the breeding is going to work.
Yeah, I want to touch on real quick. So the original BeepBoop box mint was a free mint, and it minted out in 1 minute, 10,000 BeepBoop boxes. And it clearly, there were bots as part of that, right? I mean, like mint botters, bot minters, excuse me. So that wasn't all just like one per person thing. It was, so we suffered a little bit because of that. And, some people look at the bot floor price and go, man, it's pretty low. Well, part of that is because we had to get through some whales that minted significant amounts of these boxes. And that can take some time, and that's can be the downside of a free mint, right? But we burned through them. We are through them now. We have basically nothing but players left in the game. They're not people that are just sitting here trying to, sell the free mint that they got from season 1. So it was hard to get through. And so I think BeepBoop definitely learned from that. And now they implemented what's called the Beep list for this next free mint. Mel, if you want to touch on the Beep list, feel free.
Yeah. So the Beep list was or it still is, an organically derived list of people who apply. It's beepboopbot.io/beeplist. You have to connect your Twitter and then your wallet and answer some very philosophical questions. So like, what would you prefer to fight, a hippo-sized duck or a duck or 100 duck-sized hippos? And have some creative answers. And the point of that is to ensure that every single person who applies and is approved to the Beep list is human. And with that, BeepBoop and the team there has gone through them individually, hand by hand, account by account, and they have had 75,000 applications. And, you know, they've handpicked 3,000 so far, I think, out of that list. And I think their total before we actually mint the Beep list is going to be 5,000. But there's room for another 5,000 people on the Beep list, and that will be a perpetual list from here on. People who will have access to a free season asset. This year, it's a robo dog, and but that's the point, is to avoid bots, just to, you know, make sure that it's actually going to people who are engaged in the community and who are interested in the project, and to give them the experience of a free asset drop. Basically, is what the Beep list is for.
I love the idea of the Beep list, like taking bots out of the equation, but I also love that it's BeepBoop bots, and it's like, we don't want bots in the BeepBoop bot. So I don't know, it's just like, it's almost like an oxymoron. So I mean, I love the way it's just the team thing, the way this team thinks. It just sounds kind of cool already. So I like it.
I got a quick question. You know, for your survey questions, what was your answers, and why?
Oh man, I'm definitely.
Bonsai and I have different answers on this. So, I chose the 100-sized duck, or hippo-sized ducks. No, duck-sized hippos, rather. Sorry.
Sounds like she's lying. I don't even think she's giving us a real answer there. That just sounds like she's making it up as she goes.
Quiet,
you're the one that wants to fight one hippo-sized duck without understanding what you're actually getting into. So, you know, there's that. But yeah, I would choose the 100 duck-sized hippos, and the reason is because I think I can handle a small animal much better than I can handle one very large angry duck. So
what's your reason for the one big hippo?
Matt, no, one big duck.
No, one big duck.
One big duck.
I think what I've learned through this is a lot of people grew up watching like America's Funniest Home Videos where the duck chases a kid around a pond, but they didn't grow up watching like National Geographic or shows that like show hippos and how freaking vicious and ferocious they are, because hippos are no freaking joke. I mean, look, we got like pit bulls getting a bad rap in the news. Can you imagine these freaking hippos the size of like a small dog? Like how
there's 100 of them,
and they got like razor canine teeth that are like saber-toothed tigers. Dude, those things are
the only reason why they're mean is because they're big. If they were small, they would be like your chihuahua and it wouldn't be a big deal.
Dude, like the first 5 duck-sized hippos are going to take you to your kneecaps. The next 5 are going to take you to your thighs. You're going to end up with nubs by the time you get to like through 20 of them. Like, I don't know what people are thinking with these things.
I think
with a hippo-sized duck, though. What are you doing with that?
I don't know if my answer is YouTube appropriate, but I kind of basically decided that I'm gonna have to destroy it from the inside out, and I'm going in through the egg maker.
Oh, this is like Ace Ventura, but backwards.
Exactly.
Instead of a rhino.
Exactly. But other people had other people were brilliant in saying they're just gonna let the duck eat them real quick, and then just like swallow them whole, and then attack them that way. And that might be a little.
That's not how ducks eat, by the way. That still is gonna take you out.
Oh, for sure. But I did chose the hippo-sized duck, and I'll tell you what I would do. I would treat it like an elephant, and I would be at that thing in a pit, and then I would make it stuck in the pit, and then I don't have to deal with it.
So this guy has a pit randomly that he could just lure animals into. I didn't know this about you, Dilly.
By the way, what about the duck can fly and get out of your pit?
That's something I didn't think about, because I was thinking of like a chicken for some reason when I thought about the question, because I told this to my fiance.
Fly.
And ducks fly.
Yeah,
and so a hippo's
flamingo fly.
Okay, but a hippo-sized duck would generate a wing force of approximately hurricane strength winds. Like, there's some physics to be thought of here.
Did none of you guys have like pillows filled with duck feathers or comforters filled with duck feathers? Like, I'm not scared of a fluffy duck. I don't know where the fear comes from.
Are you scared of an ostrich? why are we talking about this, first of all? But are you scared of an ostrich?
This is off topic with BeepBoop.
No, this is what, dude, we've had these, but this is example. This is fun. Like we've done this in the spaces, and in our Twitter chats, which, yeah, that's, I don't know if you want to touch on that. So BeepBoop Bots lives on Twitter. There's no Discord. We have, during the season, the battling especially, we have nightly spaces, and we have like 6 boop camps, which are like where we put the new recruits, like boot camp, but boop camp. And they're maxed out at 75 people each. And we have so many different Twitter chats where you can get all your questions answered, where all the OGs are in there answering questions. It's great. The website is so informative that between the website and all the Twitter chats, like, we haven't really seen the need to have a Discord. There hasn't really been a deficit because of that. So that's the way.
One big thing is the Twitter Spaces. If you want to elaborate on a little bit about that.
Yeah, I want to actually answer A-Bomb's question earlier. He asked about what does the battling look like. So there's two ways, right? If you're just looking at the battling on the website, what it looks like is you go to the website, you are showed your matchups, you show what bots of yours are going to be battling in that evening. And in season 1, we had the option to add ammo, like Mel was talking about earlier, which gave us an advantage to try to win. If you were really scared that you were going to lose, or you knew you were going to lose because you were fighting a really strong bot, you had the option to purchase a battle pass, which gave you a flyer, gave you a pass. You didn't have to battle that night. And so that's basically the interactive measures that you took during season 1 when you found out your bot was going to fight that night. You then basically check back after roughly 9 p.m. Pacific, and you see the result of the battles, and it shows you basically blow by blow, round by round, like they're dice rolling like Dungeons and Dragons, where you have a damage and a defense. You have a damage dice roll, and you have a defense dice roll, and you take turns with the bot that you're battling. And it's all statistical probabilities on the dice rolls, based on what your bot's damage and defense scores or stats are going into the battle. And it shows you if you won or lost, and it shows you, why or how you won or lost based on the dice rolls. And so then at that point, you have the choice to revive your bot with a toolbox. That's how the battling looks from the website perspective. Now, if you're involved in the spaces, what it looks like is during all of these things that are happening, like the lead up to the battling, we have BeepBoop and Alice, which is the AI, like BeepBoop's mother, and she's the evil Alice AI we're all super scared of, like legitimately. They run through a series of different engaging like parts of the spaces where we're getting into like battle sequence. We're warming up. Like Alice literally has us doing like karate chops and punches with the reactions, like the emojis, and we're all doing it in like synchronicity, and we're all like, the music is great and it's very suspenseful, and we're getting ready to battle. And she says, show us your battle face. And you make the O face with the emoji. And then she says, let's hear your battle cry. And she unmutes the mic, and everyone just battle cries. And, it's so much fun. You have to do it. And then at the end of a series of like a cool song that she plays, then the results come out, and we all live go and check the website and see if we won or lost. And and during the battling, which is fun too, is Alice is saying, "Oh, you silly robot! Like, what are you doing over there?" Like, it just she says all these funny like ad lib things, like 2-4, which is another community member, like 2-4. Why are you over there in the corner kissing Bonsai Nate? You're supposed to be battling, like just silly stuff, And it's like, oh my gosh, I've never seen a body part go like bend that way or whatever. It's just funny things. And we get the results, and we all kind of comment live, like, oohs and ahs, and like, ups and downs and of the elation or the depression of losing. And that's kind of what we do on a nightly basis. And it's exhilarating. It's a ton of fun. And so that's what it looks like if you're interactive with the spaces, and they're huge. They're a big part of the project. Like, the spaces are such an important part, I think.
Well, it sounds like it. If there's no Discord and that's where a lot of the action takes place of like interacting, you know, with the community, that sounds like a definite must check out if you're in the project. Dilly, I don't know. I feel like I got a really solid rundown. I'm jazzed for season 2 now. I can't wait to see what's going on. I got to go grab a toolbox because I'm probably gonna get my ass handed to me once or twice. I'm gonna need to revive my bot. So I'll go check those out. I appreciate you guys coming through and dropping all this information and taking time out of your day. So, Dilly, you got anything else you want to hit them with?
No, I think that was a really good recap. I think there's a lot to unpack, obviously with BeepBoop bots, but I really love that you guys dove into, obviously, the arbitrage opportunities within the collection. You kind of gave a good framework of what the season 2 expectations are, and then also a good overview of a lot of the mechanics that are at play. So I think this is a really great, first starting video for somebody that's like looking at entering the ecosystem, or we're going to chop this up and obviously have multiple videos. So I wanted to say thank you to both of you guys for hopping in. If there's any closing statements that you guys want to make sure that somebody would hear, definitely let's hear them.
I'll just say really, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead. I'm done.
I was just going to say, Dilly, you touched on it earlier, like 10KTF members are no stranger to the arbitrage opportunities of like when blanks are like a low, or the materials are at a low. And I've always described 10KTF and BeepBoop bots as like the sort of the guy, like you see the guy that spins the plates, and he's got like a spinning plate on his toes and a spinning plate on every like part of his body. He's got like 10 spinning plates, and you got to keep those plates spinning, right? And it's a constant struggle to keep those plates spinning, and they start to wobble and get slow, and that it's like both of those projects do a really good job to like never let the plates hit the ground and break, but they do start to slow and wobble, and that's kind of like the arbitrage opportunity, right? You got to find when that plate is the most neglected, it's the least paid attention to in that part of the season, is when you want to buy that item, and that exists in both of these projects. And I think it's really fun to kind of figure out which is the plate that is wobbling and ready to hit the ground, and that's when you want to buy it.
I guess I have one other question before Mel, you round us out. If you are a player that maybe doesn't have the time to be able to pay attention to what's going on with BeepBoop, how do you stay engaged, or how do you stay participating within the ecosystem? Because I feel like the big question from a lot of people is, I already have too many projects that I'm trying to pay attention to. How can I get into BeepBoop? And it seems like it's overwhelming.
So BeepBoop is a little overwhelming when you first look at it. There are a lot of different parts to it. It does require a little bit of effort and a little bit of attention. And it is not like any other NFT project that you buy and, maybe set your asset for sale and come back and check it, or get your email from wherever that your item's sold. It has that potential. You could just do that. Just buy your bots and resell them. Buy your toolboxes, resell them. Buy your OG boxes, and just collect the airdrop or the mint assets from your OG boxes and sell those. Those are all viable opportunities. You kind of don't have to really pay attention if you're only planning to buy and sell the in-game assets that we use. Toolboxes are the best example in that they're super low and neglected right now. A lot of people dumped them to buy other things that they thought they were going to need. And then they're going to have to come back and recollect them later. But, buy them and put your price up for what you think it's going to be and wait on them to sell. And eventually they're going to get that high. And it doesn't require any effort there. The BeepBoop box, like I said, every season we get an airdrop from it. Actually, I think it's going to be a claim from now on. So, just pay attention to when that claim is going to be and set your calendar when it's announced and, whatnot. The website has all the updates that are necessary. There's a community space for Twitter, so you could literally be as involved as you want to be or as passive as you want to be and just pay attention to it every couple of days. It's really up to that that person how involved they want to be.
If you want to play the game, you probably need to spend a minimum of 5 minutes a day in the Twitter chats and 5 minutes a day on the website if you want to actually play. So it's not like if you want to play, you have to spend hours. You can spend hours, but you definitely don't need to. So that option is there. Yep.
Perfect. All right, cool. Well, Mel, do you have any final remarks?
Well, my final remark was going to be was about the level of participation. So you kind of took that out ahead of time by asking, but the community is really great. We built this organically. We built the liquidity pool for this project organically. This BeepBoop bots literally started with one robot and like 1 or 2 people in a Twitter space and grew from there. And we have had spaces that have had thousands of people in them. And it's coming to a space is super important. Listening to the vibe, watching somebody dev online and be as responsive as they are and act as quick as they do is totally different from anything that you will find in Web3. I have made suggestions that I think are, would help the project or would make the user interface a little bit better. And literally 25, 30 minutes later, they're done with it. They've made that little change. I've never had a project care what the community thinks as much as BeepBoop bots does. And I've never had a project be as interactive with their community members as BeepBoop bots. And then anybody who thinks that, oh, well, it's a play to earn, it's a rug, it's a scam, whatever negative that you want to say, interact with BeepBoop. And nobody who is trying to scam you is going to spend this much time and effort and caring about what the people in the community think to turn around and sit and try to just take from them. He's very giving. And it comes through in everything he does, or they do. BeepBoop bots, single person. So yeah, you get the idea.
Yeah, no. I want to say thank you to both of you guys for coming on. We've been at it for a while, and I just want to say thank you. Hopefully we get to do a few more of these in the future as the season kind of progresses. I know more questions are going to come up, but I just want to say thank you to both of you guys for coming on the show, and we'll have you again, hopefully. Mel, we'll see if you can win season 2.
No, I can't win.
He's not allowed.
I'm not eligible to win. No, right. Part of the deal for winning was that, and I totally agree and support this. Like, the community needs somebody else. Like, I could probably win again if I wanted to, but that's a known thing. Like, I have the assets, I have put in the resources to make it probable to get into the top whatever, but I would want somebody else to win. I'm happy to not win and make myself ineligible just to help the community.
What would you say was the game-winning strategy for season 1 for you?
Put as many bots into the finals as possible. I entered the finals with 162 bots still alive. So, out
of 1,000.
The final, yeah. So out of 1,000, I had 162 alive. And in the top 10, I still had half alive. Half the top 10 was me. So just pure numbers, math. It's all about math. And so in order to get to that survival level, I kind of figured out that with the way that the battles were designed, to plan to lose approximately 50% of my battles, and you can work out the bracket to figure out how many days it will kind of last. And I just made sure I had enough toolboxes for all that. Is honestly how I did it. I planned on I would recommend, if you're seriously trying to win, that you have at least 6 toolboxes per bot. That was for season 1. So for season 2, I would think that you're going to need 9 toolboxes per bot to win.
The key is to have enough bots. Because of the bots needing so many toolboxes, the key is to have basically as small of an army as you can get enough yield from, because every bot you have, you need a lot of toolboxes. So you kind of need to find that balance of like, how many bots do you need to yield to earn enough in-game token? And then, because like I said, like, you don't want more than like me and Mel both learned, like, having a lot of bots was really tricky and very cumbersome. So there's like a sweet spot, like, where you don't want more than you need. So that's the trick. And I know we're wrapping up here, but we got to make sure somehow, whether it's on a future video or not, but we didn't properly cover what she won. We talked about just all the glory, but she won a 1 of 1, like a mega, that is got about she gets a custom design it. That the top 3 spots got those, and they're worth, the floor on those is about 10 each. So she won that, and she also gets 5% of the season 2 charger minting proceeds. So that is going to be pretty big. So that's what being in the winner's circle means. It's a huge award, and it's a giant prize. So and on a future episode, we talk about the Basie raffle too that you get when you buy season 1 chargers, but they're giving away a Bored Ape. So
I think those Survivor, waves were really cool in season 1. I'm not sure if they plan on doing that for season 2 as well, but I mean, that was something I looked forward to, is getting to that next wave for the survival raffle as well. So, yeah, super cool. Congratulations again, Mel. I'm sure you've heard that plenty of times.
So. I wanted to win, and made sure that put myself in the position to win, and then I don't like talking about winning, so there's that. So yeah, I get a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, no, you're good. Again, I appreciate you guys for coming on. I know I've said this like 5 times already, so we're gonna end it here. And if you are looking to get into BeepBoop bots, definitely go check out the collection. Season 2 is just taking off, and if you have any questions, comment below. But if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We really appreciate it, and all the other videos that we're going to chop up from this as well. But this is Speculation Alley, and I want to say thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.
Later.